Hello, one and all, and welcome to the 187th episode of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, recorded on June 20th, 2022. On the podcast today, we have the Shorez of the podcast, Andrew Clark.
I don't understand that reference.
Oh, no.
I mean, I know what Shorez is, but, like, I never watched Letterkenny, and I certainly haven't seen Shorez. And I'm not even good at doing a Canadian accent. And I know nothing about hockey, so...
Shorez doesn't really have a Canadian accent. He has a Shorez accent. You're fucking two-ply, bud.
Also on the podcast today, we have the birthday boy and the Shorez of the podcast, Ryanholtz.
Oh, man. Is this a birthday month thing? Do I get to be a birthday month?
Yeah, you get to be that person. You get to be that person who uses...
I get to be that person. Hooray.
Who uses their birthday as an excuse to make reckless, annoying decisions for the entirety of a month.
Hey, Ryan, we've assigned you the role of asshole.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice in the matter.
We've said and set it in stone that you are a bad person for this month. You have no choice in the matter.
Also on the podcast today is me, the soon-to-be birthday boy, and Shorez of the podcast. It's an all-Shorez podcast. Lucas the writer. I think I had said in a previous episode, this podcast is a podcast of bad boys. This is also a podcast of Shorez. Yeah.
I feel like you're doing a bit like Morbius style, but I don't think Shorez is bad enough.
It's Shores in time.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad enough to be Morbin.
Listen, man, this is the first podcast we've done in like 20 days. A lot's happened. Ryan and I were both back in Wisconsin, both back in rural Wisconsin. I was talking to people around my age. I've lost touch with my roots because they're all about Letterkenny now, and I had to maybe exaggerate my Letterkenny knowledge.
Wow. You were that guy? Oh, yeah, I've seen that show. But just tell me what it's about, just to make sure that you know what it's about.
Yeah?
I've watched a good amount of Letterkenny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's genuinely, like, clever.
Okay.
It's not, like, redneck shitty humor. It's, like, they do their best to actually make it, like, a clever show, you know?
These people have lives. There's an interiority to these characters, not just...
I mean, like, the writing is also literally, like, it's mostly, like, wordplay. And, like, trying to be, like, funny within the script, you know? A lot of the performances are, like, purposefully wooden so as to not distract from the fact that, like, all they're trying to do is just make you laugh from the words that they're saying. Like, yeah.
Anyone could read these lines and make them funny.
Yeah,
we have no talent as actors.
Wow.
A couple of them don't.
Oh.
At least a couple of them have literally no talent. So.
Yeah, it's been 2.5 weeks. What do we all do? Where's everyone at?
We had a lot of shit
going
on.
Yeah, it's a bad time.
So much stuff went on that I don't really remember it all.
A wedding. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Has Michael ever been on the podcast?
Yes,
No.
He guested on a previous version of the podcast to talk about The Legend of Zelda.
The previous
version?
Back when it was just yours
podcast?
That's not the same podcast.
Well,
the Fourth Floor podcast was a completely different thing. That was just your podcast, and you had guests on to talk about stuff, which was fun.
what do you think this
bring it
is?
Oh.
This is completely Lucas's fault. We're all wearing red shirts.
Yeah, right?
Oh, Red
That's weird.
Gang.
We've been on this Google Hangout for 20 minutes.
It's the Red Army.
I was going to say, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like
Lucas,
this
this is not your podcast. This is our podcast, comrade.
That's fair. Okay.
I feel like this is a product of the Fourth Floor podcast and the Badger Television podcast. I feel like falls somewhere in between.
That's coming back to me. Oh, boy. Yeah.
It's the natural evolution.
Michael was a very frequent guest on the Badger Television podcast. He was a regular, one might say. He might have been on. There was only like 11 episodes. I think he was on like 9 of them. 9 out of 11.
Is that even a guest at that point, or is that a recurring character?
I think that's main cast, and just sometimes
it's
isn't
definitely
featured.
not main cast. Series regular has to be in almost every single episode.
I think
Main
9 out of
cast is in
11
every episode.
Okay.
Almost every
No,
episode.
yeah, that'd be series regular. That's
Okay.
different from main cast. Main cast is in every single episode, and then recurring is, I think, less than half. Yeah.
Did we ever get Jason on that podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting question that maybe we should bring him on this podcast to answer sometime. How did that work? Him being on the UW-Madison campus, but not being a student of UW-Madison. Could he just walk into buildings and it was totally chill? Like nobody ever checked?
A couple of things. Like, he didn't live on campus. He lived in an apartment. That's off campus. And second of all, I think he worked for UW-Madison.
He did on his last year on
Oh,
campus,
okay.
but the first couple, no. He went to Madison College. You'd be surprised how many Madison College people live in the same apartments as UW people and live UW lives and then take the bus.
It's like less than a mile away.
I don't know if it's less than a mile, but they do have to. They take a bus, and it's pretty easy.
Fair.
I gotta find our channel. It's very hard to find the Badger Television channel.
I'm subscribed. It's easy to find.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I am too. I just didn't click on it. I always have to search Student Orgy, which was my original sketch. Let's see. The first episode was Ryan, Andrew, Lucas, and Jade.
Hey.
So basically this plus Jade, which has also happened on this podcast. Then it was Ryan, Lucas, Andrew, and Ian. Then Ryan, Lucas, Andrew, and Ian. Then Ryan, Lucas, Andrew, and Jade. Then Ryan, Lucas, Michael, and Ian. Ooh, the first of us three not being on there. Ryan, Lucas, Andrew, and Jade. Ryan, Lucas, Michael, and Ian again. That's a recurring. Ryan, Michael, Andrew, and Jason in probably the weirdest combo. Ryan, Lucas, Andrew, and Jade. Ryan, Lucas, Andrew, and Michael. Ryan, Lucas, Andrew, and Michael. So Michael was only in probably like half of those, I'd say.
I'm down to I'm down to reoccurring. Yeah.
Yeah.
In every one. Wow.
You were not in every one. You were in. There was one Ryan, Michael, Jason, and Andrew, which was a weird one.
Yeah.
Lucas was in every other one.
We were just trying stuff out.
I was the producer. Andrew missed 2 of them. Lucas missed 1 of them. And then Jade was in 4. Michael was in 5. 5. And Jason was in 1. And Ian was in 4.
Huh.
So yeah, just all of our friends getting in a room and talking for a bit.
Yeah, podcast.
Yeah, that's what podcasts are, right?
Yeah. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And this podcast is about to talk about news in News of the Week. That was a weak transition. I'm sorry. I'm a little rusty at this. I'm sure it'll come back to me.
We're moving away from the Badger Television podcast into the Fourth Floor podcast.
There was a lot of video game stuff. Not E3 is happening. Summer Games Fest. Jeff Keighley's whatever, Key 3. Or, I don't know, maybe it should be Jeff with like 3 Fs instead of 2.
That would be better.
F3. F3 is happening right now, so there's a lot of video game news. Like a new Pokemon trailer for Scarlet and Violet. It looks cool as shit. And you know what? I'm going to say it. The fact that we get 2 hot Pokemon
I don't care that you
professors...
broke your elbow.
What?
I don't care. I'm going to say it.
I'm going to say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow. Oh. I always get that kid confused with you were talking to a future United States Marine kid. They're very similar.
I have not seen that one.
Are you serious? Oh, it's even in a similar setting, I think. It's in like a computer lab, and they're like shit-talking this kid who looks a lot like the I don't care that you broke your elbow kid. And he's just like, keep in mind that you're talking to a future United States Marine. And it's It's pretty good. Anyway, there's 2 hot Pokemon trainers.
Yeah, and you guys not caring about that is biphobic during Pride Month. So, wow. Okay, I see where it's at.
Oh, it's a future U.S. Army soldier.
Ah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just don't care about anime girls.
What about anime men? Anime men who are hot, but also look like they would try to get me into crypto.
Pokemon trainers would try to get you into crypto?
Pokemon professors. But yes.
What's the difference? When do you become a professor? I'm actually curious. What's the lore?
I mean, when you, like, give up on your dreams of becoming a trainer and it's like, all right, I need more stability in life. I'm going to finish my degree, go to grad school, and become a professor. Assuming your dissertation is accepted.
But, like, wouldn't professors be the best trainers? Or no?
In a couple iterations, but no, you rarely see Pokemon professors battle.
I always thought that they were just kind of over it, though.
Yeah.
I thought they were like trainers who were just old. Like, I thought that was the main difference. They were just like, I don't need to. I've done everything. I am an absolute master. Like, I don't even need to do the Elite Four and all that shit.
I guess that is kind of the setup of the first game when Professor Oak is just like, hey, my grandson's friend, get out there and do my field research for me. I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, I just thought that they just didn't care anymore, and that was the main difference. I didn't know. Maybe it's because the Pokemon games are so easy.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't think it was, like, there's no real skill in the training, right? Like, you just fight, and you keep selecting the fighting move, and then you win,
so
and then it's over.
I
know there's Nuzlocke, but
so within
those aren't canon.
Within a vacuum of just the games, yes, no, you put Earthquake on a fucking Rhydon, and you win. You just win the game like that.
Yeah. You put Rollout on Whitney's fucking cow.
Yeah.
And you just win every battle.
Right.
Miltank, that's what it is.
Now, if you're playing competitive Pokemon, though...
But that's not canon.
That's fair.
Like, that's not within the story of... Well, no, there are, like, those towers or whatever, where, like, you can compete with people or whatever.
The AI can ramp up in the post-game, but no, you're...
But they can't, like, there's no... You don't need to, like, look at EVs and everything like that for fighting AI, right? Like, that's just never necessary.
It can help. It can help, but it's not required to get through 90% of the game.
Like nature and EV, I thought that was always just pretty much for PvP, where you literally need like the perfect Pokemon in order to be able to win it all.
Pretty much.
But like for the main game, I just took my Chikorita and power leveled it and won every single fight using just the one Pokemon, one-hitting every single enemy that I came across. And then beat the Elite Four with one Pokemon, and then beat the champion with one Pokemon.
You're using your Meganium wrong! Its stats are geared for defensive roles!
I have no idea what the fuck either of you are saying.
Play a Pokemon!
You should probably play a Pokemon.
Why? It sounds like they're not fun.
No, they're pretty fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're like fun to play once. And then like...
Alright, I get this.
Yeah, the first time you're like, oh, I want to collect all these different types so that I can always have a counter to whatever the person's going to put out. That was always my fun, which is like the same thing that I'm doing in FIFA now, where I'm like, oh, I got to put these types together to mesh. Like it's that particular itch being scratched of like, I've got to think of every contingency and put together a perfect squad. That's what makes it fun. I don't know. It's like when you'd walk into the school in 4th grade and your teacher would have a brain teaser on the chalkboard and be like, oh, whoever gets it first gets a prize. And it'd be like, there's 13 lines. How do you make this shape without any of them touching, some random bullshit. And then it was just like, I gotta hurry up and do it. I want that Jolly Rancher or whatever the fuck.
Oh, shit.
Whatever the fuck Mr. Steinhorst is gonna give us.
Yeah. The school district tells him he can't give out candy as a prize, but that's not going to stop him. Been doing this shit for 30 years.
He's been doing it for a long time, to the point where he doesn't believe in accelerated reader. So when all the other classes get to go to fucking Cascade Mountain and go tubing when they meet their accelerated reader goal, you guys just fucking read and don't get rewarded for it at all.
That's horseshit. That is so much bullshit that they can just let... What?
He was above the law, apparently. He was just like, you shouldn't have to be incentivized to read.
Okay, but then the school district should do something for the kids and be like, yeah, you guys are, I don't know, exempt, or like you can do something else. Like, you shouldn't just be like excluded from a field trip because your teacher says, fuck you, I don't believe in it.
Especially,
you want a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Especially when they're doing a microcosm of that in class with the candy to solve the brain teasers.
I mean, he's actually putting his money where his mouth is if he doesn't believe in, like, participation trophies. Because, yeah, us millennials didn't give ourselves the participation trophies. But, so, like, he is actually, like, fighting against participation trophies. And then, yeah, probably the type of person to rail against participation trophies. But I guess he did his part, so...
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a field trip to Mineral Point that maybe was, like, our makeup field trip, where we went to, like, an old mine and got to, like, oh, look at this big hunk of lead. It's heavy as fuck, isn't it?
You're gonna get sick.
Did you get to ride in a mine shaft cart?
Oh, absolutely not.
Fucking God, that was the only redemption.
We didn't go in the mines. I'm sure they are remarkably dangerous and toxic. I don't think a bunch of fourth graders would ever be allowed under any circumstances to go into a mine shaft. We got to, like, see the mine shaft and, like, look down it and go, like, echo, and then it would echo, and then, like, be like, look, there's over there is where they would fucking do the panning, and then over here is where, I don't know, we have this fucking giant piece of lead.
This is where the whorehouse was.
Probably. Let's be honest.
Yeah, this is actually a great transition to the next news story. Speaking of just compromises that nobody is happy with, there's a new Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers. The gameplay looks lame as shit.
It's not open world, it's, open zone.
What does that mean?
There.
You can just say there are going to be load times if that's what you mean by saying that, but say that.
Yeah, I loved it. It was funny seeing all the, like, money shots that they were trying to put in there, like game trailer shots, and it's just looks shitty. Like,
one, it looks bad.
Yep.
Two, like, they're not doing anything. But, like, there was also no narration, so it was super off-putting to see it. It's just Sonic looking around and then running off in a direction, and then just, like, walking sometimes, and then running again past the stuff that, like, was floating in the air that looked like you should get it, and just, like, running past it, not interacting, and going somewhere. Yeah, it was weird.
They had, like, Breath of the Wild hero shots where the camera slowly panned around Sonic as he looked over the landscape. And it was like, but the landscape looks shitty, and Sonic looks shitty.
My favorite moment was sometimes Sonic would go too fast, and then you could see the world load in in real time.
In the trailer.
In the trailer, like, the thing that's supposed to be them showing off how cool it is. And again, like, they didn't have to put that out. No. They chose to. That wasn't leaked footage.
All that.
Oh. Woof.
Sonic. I kind of thought Sonic was like completely dead, other than ironic stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that the only thing that Sonic would ever be involved in for the rest of time would be ironic media.
Ryan,
I guess the movies succeed.
Those movies did too well for them to never make another Sonic game.
Aren't the movies kind of ironic? I don't know. Isn't that just me?
The movies are bad. I'll give you that. I don't know if they're ironic.
I think that's part of the irony, right? Like, they do really well in spite of not being particularly well received. So it's like people go to see it tongue-in-cheek, and then kids, obviously. I don't know. I thought the movies were at least partially ironic. Maybe that's just me.
I mean, if that would explain to me why other people seem to enjoy them more than I did, if they were coming to it with a sense of irony, but I didn't get that. I didn't give the movie that. Couple of Sony State of Play stuff. Another Resident Evil 4 remake. A couple of PlayStation VR 2 games. Marvel Spider-Man coming to PC.
I've never heard of this, by the way. Sorry. What is VR2?
It's just
a new.
Well, PlayStation VR was a thing for the PlayStation 4, and this
Why did they get rid of it?
Because this is PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah.
This is their next iteration of it.
And they just keep doing PlayStation VR? Why does it need a sequel? I'm confused.
I think the hardware is upgraded.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as, it's the PS3 versus the PS4. Like, it's better.
But it's not standalone. You have to plug it in.
Yeah.
The Xbox Kinect upgraded for Xbox One, and they just kept calling it the Kinect because...
I would not be surprised at all if you could still play, like, other non-PSVR 2 games on the PSVR, but... Oh, you can't play a PSVR 2 game on the PSVR because it can't handle it.
Yeah. I don't know, just keep calling it PlayStation VR, and then people know.
No.
And if they don't, fuck them.
Marvel Spider-Man coming to PC. Robot Cat game Stray out July 19th. Actually looking forward to that one. The Callisto Protocol is out in December. Roller Dome, which looks like fucking oh god, what is it? Roller Derby, but with guns, is a game, and I'm excited for it. Yeah. Anime ass. Eternites.
I'm thinking it's
a good place.
Eternites.
It's a good place to pause.
Yeah.
Anime ass
Came out.
Yeah, no, it's Bullet Point Roller Dome, Bullet Point Anime ass, Bullet Point Eternites.
Street Fighter 6, Tunic coming to PlayStation in September, and Final Fantasy 16. We finally got a new trailer. Fantasy nation states are committing war crimes with subjugated gods. What could go wrong?
Why don't you tell me, Lucas, what could go wrong?
Oh, man, a lot. Like, the metaphor's right there. Like, God, does man have the... Sure, man apparently has the ability to control nature, but are they going to use that responsibly? No. No, they are not.
Should games be allowed to have a 16th iteration?
Ryan, I don't have a counter going, but this is not the 16th iteration.
Oh, I know.
This is like the 30th
with all the
iteration.
Remakes and everything. Yeah,
I mean, but
there's been a
Lucas,
million.
aren't there some Final Fantasy games that are standalone that just don't have a number? They're like Final Fantasy 0 Hour or some bullshit.
World of Final Fantasy is 100% a Final Fantasy game, but yes, that does not have a number. Some Final Fantasy games have 2 numbers. There's a Final Fantasy X-2 that is real and apparently really good.
Isn't there like a Final Fantasy Zero?
Oh,
there is a Final Fantasy Zero. Final Fantasy Type Zero.
Oh my god.
Was Final Fantasy X-2 a thing that was lost in translation? Like, that makes more sense in Japan or something? Because Final Fantasy X-2 in English is the dumbest shit I can even imagine.
None of these are related to each other than Final Fantasy X-2 is the direct sequel to Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy XI has nothing to do with Final Fantasy X. But 10 and 10-2 are the same universe.
I agree, but then call it something else.
Ryan, I'm 100% on the same page as you.
Final Fantasy X Vengeance or some shit. Final Fantasy X-2.
I just realized something that I think is going to piss you off specifically, Ryan.
Oh no.
So, the 10 in Final Fantasy X-2 is a Roman numeral, and the 2 is just the number 2.
That's actually how I would do it. That is marginally
Final Fantasy 10 or 12. I mean,
it's exactly that is marginally better than X:II or 10. The numbers 10, numbers 2. That is better to at least mix it one or the other. It's still dumb. This is a thing that happens a lot in my world, in, like, broadcast television, is there'll be a news special that will be branded with like a particular division in news. Like ABC is particularly ones that do this.
Yeah.
Where they have this news division called Soul of a Nation that makes like kind of like socially conscious news specials. But then like most specials have like da-da-da-da subtitle, you know, like fucking Johnny Depp subtitle, the case that shocked America, you know, some shit like that.
Yeah.
So then it'll be like Soul of a Nation presents Johnny Depp dash the case that shocked America. Like they can't do 2 colons because it would be really dumb.
Yeah.
So they have to like kind of make it look somewhat better, but it still looks super dumb. And yeah, I don't know. That's what that reminds. It's big, that energy where you're like, I guess we'll just mix them so it doesn't look as dumb, but like everyone knows what we're doing and it is dumb.
We can't come up with something else. We have to find a dumb way to make this work.
Right. It has to be Soul of a Nation branded, and then specials have subtitles. They just do.
How are they
There's
going to
no way
know this is the sequel to Final Fantasy X if we don't have a 2 at the end? Make it work, Janice.
Final Fantasy X Forbidden West.
I don't know. There were. Let me do a quick double check. There were 3.5 games out of this presentation that I'm considering checking out. Maybe definitely going to check out. So yeah, that's winning, I guess.
We got away from my original point though. By the way, what is the cap for how many iterations a game series should be able to have before we just take it out back and old yeller the shit out of it? Like, just like, nah.
Yeah, I agree with
make new IP. It can be similar. It can have similar themes, but you have to go like the From Software. Like, you're required to rebrand it a little bit. You can't just fucking coast on some bullshit name for decades. Like, what's the limit?
I agree.
Like Call of Duty passed it too. Obviously, Call of Duty's well past the limit.
I think it might just be because of the iteration in Final Fantasy's case, but like Final Fantasy 15 seemed like a good stopping point.
I don't know. I'm going with Star Wars rules and say 6. Like,
I was thinking around
Andrew,
10.
there are 9 Star. There are
that's
more
what
than
I mean.
9
Like, and
Star
that was
Wars
too
movies.
much. Like, that was too much. Like 6.
Wait, 4 was too much for Star Wars. Star Wars. I feel like the third Star Wars trilogy is universally regarded as better than the second one. Unless you're saying that the prequel
I don't
trilogy.
think that's true.
That is definitely true.
There are a lot of prequel apologists now.
100%. There's like prequel memesters.
I think
you
there's
can't
a
count
lot of
the
people
Morb,
that saw the prequels
Morbius.
are like, wow, this is really bad. And then the third trilogy...
They hated The Last Jedi or whatever.
Yeah, like the third trilogy is like decidedly better made, but also just is so disjointed that it doesn't make any fucking sense. So
none of the Star Wars movies make any fucking sense. Like,
look,
the original
I'm not trying to
trilogy's
apologize for
garbage.
Star Wars here. I'm gonna shit all over it later.
I don't.
Later.
At least the prequel trilogy. No, I'm not. No, I'm not getting into it. I'm not.
At least it had pod racing.
Tell me a motherfucker in Star Wars cooler than Darth Maul.
Darth Vader?
Well,
the original? Darth Vader is not cooler than Darth Maul.
Oh no, my girlfriend died. I'm going to join the dark
Once
side.
again, that's Anakin Skywalker. That is not Darth Vader. That is the prequels versus the original trilogy. Like,
Okay.
you cannot look at Rogue One Darth Vader and be like, yeah, Darth Maul's cooler than that dude. Like, no, that's might be the best sequence in all of Star Wars media is Darth Vader and Rogue One. Like,
Yeah.
that is potentially peak Star Wars.
And as bad as the Obi Wan show is, which again I'll get to that later, like at least they're like, oh, people really like the Rogue One Darth Vader. We should just give them more of that, and it works.
Thanks for bringing up that note, Andrew. This planning doc is thick, and we got to get through it. Co-creator of Giant Bomb, Jeff Gerstmann, is leaving the platform to start his own podcast, The Jeff Gerstmann Show. Dan Reichert is rejoining Giant Bomb. Does this mean that they're going to bring All Systems Goku back? I hope so. They better. I like that.
Why are we advertising our competitors?
I don't know,
No free clout.
because this is weird, and like maybe he's outside of you guys' sphere a little bit, but Jeff Gerstmann is a guy who's been working in like the video game sphere, video game journalism since like the 90s, and he's maybe the last of one of the last of the old guard of that industry. And yeah, the fact that by reading the writing on the wall, he was kind of forced out of this position by the owners of the company that he started. It's really fucked up. It's why I didn't pursue a writing career more seriously than what I have previously, because, yeah, even when you are the guy on top, even when you are the most tenured person in your field, this can still happen to you. So, what the fuck?
It's a shitty field.
That's true.
Games journalism
oh my god, John.
Is maybe slightly better than sports journalism, which is a very, like, that's bad. to be considered slightly better than sports journalism is not a compliment.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's fucked up.
You could be a writer in a real field, Lucas. A not shitty field. And you would have been fine.
I don't want to be a business writer and my beat is just whatever Elon Musk tweets out. I want to talk about cool shit. Like video games.
You don't want to write John Grisham novels? Your 40th Law novel?
It might be a summer project to finish the draft of the first 3 chapters of a book. And then have you guys review that and give me feedback.
There's a lot of qualifiers.
A lot of qualifiers on there.
It might be a goal to finish a draft of the first 3 chapters,
and maybe have you guys read it.
There's like 6 qualifiers in there.
If I don't set a hard goal, I can't be disappointed in myself when I don't achieve it.
Yeah, exactly.
Therefore, you won't do it. That's
Well,
the whole point of setting hard goals. Is trying to peer pressure yourself into actually doing them.
1.5 chapters in so far. That's where I'm at on this. On
nice.
1.5 chapters into the draft?
The first draft, yes.
Okay, and we're reading the first draft, or there's going to be a polished draft.
There are probably going to be at least 2 or 3 revision periods, and then I will send it to you guys and Maria for review.
Not Ian? Ian's a writer.
Oh, I should give it to Ian too, yeah. Actually, wow, I probably owe it to him to check out the latest script he's been working on. Yeah.
Do it. And then we'll read it live on the podcast.
Oh, no.
We'll do a live reading. We'll play all the characters.
Yeah! Dibs on not Elon Musk. Summer Games Fest, a.k.a. Key 3, or Jeff with 3 Fs, F3.
Jeff Key 3.
Didn't we already talk about this?
Not really.
Didn't we lead off with Summer Games Fest?
It's the month of June at this point, and that's frustrating. Bunch of game announcements. Remake of the original Last of Us. Again.
Remake. Is this a remake of the remake, or is this a remake of the original?
So, okay, also, like, not apologizing for this.
Andrew's about to nerd out.
No, but, like, it's the difference between, like... So, this is, like, the Resident Evil 2 remake. You know, there was Resident Evil 2 that came out, like, the 90s. I'm positive there was a Resident Evil 2 remake that, like, polished it up a little bit a couple years later. And then there was the remake, which is a completely different game, but with the same story. I don't think this is quite to that level. I think this is just they're putting the stuff from The Last of Us 2 in the first Last of Us game. And I saw something a couple days ago, they're like, in case you missed it, Naughty Dog released this incredible new model of Tess from The Last of Us remake.
The character who dies like before the inciting event.
And again, it's just they made her face look a little different, and she has more texture.
Oh, no.
It's
it's like those Fallout mods where they like, make Piper prettier, and like they just like slightly narrow her face or some weird shit. Like,
I was gonna say, I wish if they are making substantial changes to the game that they would make that more clear, because all of their advertising so far, screenshots of, and this is also frustrating now that I think about it, The Last of Us Remake, which is the older game, and then The Last of Us Part 1, which is the remake of that remake, it just looks like they slapped an Instagram filter on the remake.
Yeah.
They're doing the NBA 2K thing
Yeah,
where they just
wet.
make the players sweaty. They do it every year where they like compare last gen and the player isn't sweaty, and then current gen and they're sweaty. And it's like, all right, guys, you can only do this so many years before we're like, the sweat's always been there. Because you just take it away.
But it's not like this is going to be a completely different game. The thing is I think they are remaking it from the quote-unquote ground up because they're putting in the different kind of gameplay.
Right. Are they like retconning like some of the monsters and stuff?
I don't know. But it's still like that's not different enough of a game. Like The Last of Us Part 2 is just an improved gameplay version of The Last of Us. And then they're just going to make this that. Like what? That's not different enough to warrant a ground up remake. And it's definitely not enough to warrant just a remaster. So like, who is this for?
Yeah.
Are they adding in the creepy hospital Cronenberg monster?
It only shows up in one particular place, I don't think.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that canon?
I think so.
That has never happened before in the history of planet Earth post mushroom apocalypse.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I feel like there's probably at least a few of those running around. Like conditions were right that somehow this creepy Cronenberg monster happened.
I mean, it's going to show up in the multiplayer-only sequel to The Last of Us Part 2, which is another thing that I don't know who this is for. Andrew, is this for you?
The multiplayer.
The Last of Us 1 multiplayer was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was.
I remember
I'd play it. If it's not like a $70 game, like I will play it.
It reminded me of the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which was always just like surprisingly competent and like kind of fun to play with friends, even though you wouldn't guess because it's a single player game.
The Uncharted multiplayer, all those games was like also still like, why is this here? But also this is a lot of fun. I'm having a good time. Yeah. This is well made.
I mean, like all those games, it's like you could have like 15, 20 hours of good fun with your friends in this multiplayer, like, and that's all you can really ask for from a single player game. So, but yeah, if this is a standalone $70 game, you're gonna have to bring a little bit more. Is it just gonna be open world like battle royale?
No details.
No clue.
Because it feels like it would lend itself to that. Like it's literally just fucking
fight to the death for
what's the battle royale that's super Tarkov?
Oh yeah.
It could just be Tarkov, but Last of Us.
I think Tarkov has a gun game mechanic where each time you play through or you kill people to get better weapons, it's something like that. I'm not super
if you survive, you like keep your weapons and your character's still alive. And like what Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone.
Yeah, it fucking failed so hard.
Woo! We played that once,
and it was dead. Like it wasn't a full match
within the first week. I remember because I sat outside the helicopter and just blatantly sprinted in, killed one dude, and then was like, "Get in, we're going," and then it was over, and we were like, "All right, let's go back to Conquest."
A couple of other things. Neon White out June 16th. Plan that now. We'll talk more about that later. Goat Simulator 3 is happening. There was a second one? Alright.
Yeah.
Guiles and Street Fighter 6? I guess that deserves a trailer. I thought we could have assumed that. Alright. JRPG One Piece Odyssey seems fun. There are a bunch of space sci-fi horror stuff that I can only imagine is happening because the pandemic has lasted long enough that games writers are like, there's a metaphor here. There's a metaphor we can use.
Yeah, in the Donkey video it was funny because they did all look exactly like Dead Space.
Yeah.
I think the Callisto project is at least made by the people that made Dead Space.
Yeah, one of them was literally
and
Dead Space.
It's basically just a sequel to Dead Space, but not.
It's the FromSoft, Bloodborne versus Souls, blah, blah, blah. But still.
And then, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is finally coming out.
Again.
Wow. It's been 12 years. It's been in development for 12. That thing we played 12 years ago, that was a beta for this game. Ready to get a tactical nuke on terminal?
Here's the thing, though. I was talking to Lucas about this. I never played the Call of Duty Modern Warfare remake that came out in 2019.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I mean, like, I played...
You played it a little bit.
I mean, and the story. I mean, I didn't...
Oh, the campaign.
I never played the campaign. But from what I read on Wikipedia, it's like a somewhat prequel to the other Modern Warfare games that came out, 12 years ago.
Right.
But, like, not quite. It's like a reimagining. And I think this one is like a reimagining of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. But it's not. This is not like a remake or a new take on Modern Warfare 2. I think this is a new take on Modern Warfare 1, but this is Modern Warfare 2, the remake.
Right. So here's the issue.
Are they going to have to make 4 of these? Are they going to have to make a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 remake so that they can have the reimagining of Modern Warfare 3?
Here's what they did. They're a victim of their own success. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 was kind of the departure. Every game before that had been a World War II game.
Yeah.
So then they were like, let's make it modern. Like, that'll be new and exciting. And it was. And it was also like a big departure in terms of like respecting anything. It became like, no, it's arcade, baby. Kill that dude with a headshot and it'll play a cool guitar riff. And then get a helicopter. But they said it in the far future of 2016.
Oh,
like, the game came out in 2008, and they were like, it's, like, in the future, it's modern, but, like, this is what it'll look like in 8 years. And now we're, like, way past 2016. So if they do a prequel, that's like doing a Desert Storm game when Modern Warfare 1 came out. Like, if they do a game set, in 2008... That's pretty out of date already for modern times. Like, those weapons are 15 years old, But, like, so yeah, like, what can they do? It's always going to be kind of like a spiritual reimagining at this point because they can't make a game set in the before times without it not being modern anymore.
Yeah. But it's like
Call of Duty Afghanistan.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't have a problem with them being like, yeah, this is a reimagining. This takes place before the story events of the last one, but because it's a new take, this is 2019. Like, you play as Captain Price. At the end of the game, you're like, I got my team. It's Soap's joining it. Like, and then at the beginning of the original Modern Warfare, I don't know, man.
It's Soap, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, of course it's bad. It's Call of Duty, but...
It's, like I said, we've gone too far. Yeah. There's been too many games.
I think this is a good time. I know that on the planning document, we get to this later. I think this is a good time for me to bring up that I was really bored a couple days ago, and I downloaded the Modern Warfare 1 remaster that came out in, like, 2018 or something.
Is it free?
Yeah, it was free a couple of months ago. And I added to my library, never downloaded it. I downloaded it. I'm like, I wonder if this campaign holds up, because I remember really enjoying this when I was 12 or whatever. It does not.
Oh.
It does not hold up.
Oh,
not
boy.
even the Chernobyl stuff?
That All Gillied Up does actually hold up.
Yeah.
That one mission, the Chernobyl
mission.
stuff is really fun. And that one mission is great. The rest of it is just really dumb.
I feel like that was all Call of Duty's, though. There was, like, 3 cool missions, and, like, you as a kid were invested in the story. But, like, there was always just, like, a couple of interesting missions, and then the rest of the game was just blah. Just running through hallways to the next dot, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I played one match of multiplayer, because I guess they put multiplayer in it. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, they did.
That
would be what I'd want it for.
I got my jollies. I played one match, and then I deleted it.
Oh. Never going back. Clean break.
Oh, well.
Just like how we're about to have a clean break into the other call.
Material Girl.
Material Girl.
Material Girl. We're back. Yeah, to kind of close the thread on not E3 discussions, F3 discussions. I don't want to just parody Donkey, but yeah, it was not the same. Maybe because the Nintendo thing hasn't happened yet, but I don't know. Jeff Keighley could have done anything with this pivot away from E3, and instead he made it what is probably the most profitable version of itself by jamming it full of Twitch streamers that I don't care about and whose opinion I don't appreciate. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have it in me. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. I hope I'm not alone. Banging out some Nerdy Lucas stuff. Workers at 7 Seas, localized manga publisher, are unionizing. 7 Seas Corporate has responded by hiring a union-busting law firm. Classic. The Berserk manga will resume publication following author Kentaro Miura's passing. It will be spearheaded by his longtime staffers and friends in the industry. The release is happening on June 24th. Happy birthday to me. And then Chainsaw Man Part 2 hits July 12th.
Ah, fuck.
Yay!
God damn it.
It's coming back!
God damn it. That means I have to read this stupid shit.
Wow, that's a weird way to describe what is generation-defining media, but okay.
You said it, man, not me.
I am saying it. I'm standing by it. That is my pinned tweet on Twitter.
This is going to define a generation of manga or everything?
Everything. I do feel like...
Chainsaw Man is Gen Z. The Chainsaw Man generation, as it were.
You know, Chainsaw Man is Zillennial, at the very least. I don't think Gen Z hates themselves enough to relate all the way to Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be a millennial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I can't see a Zoomer reading Chainsaw Man.
Does Gen Z like anime and manga?
Yes, overwhelmingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anime.
Well, that was a legitimate question. There was no irony in there.
I don't think they have the attention span to read.
Yeah, someone's getting Demon Slayer to the top of the New York Times bestsellers list.
Might be
I don't think it's
millennials.
Oh, okay.
Millennials, the biggest generation.
There's just as many millennials now as there were 10 years ago. Like, they haven't started dying off yet.
Yeah, none of us have died yet.
Not for lack of trying, am I right? Ayo.
Just enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not making any more Zoomers either at this point.
No. Now we got some new wacky shit. What comes after Z?
Alpha.
Huh.
I want to go the opposite way. I want there to be like the Omega generation after Z and work its way down to Alpha in like 15
and then, like,
or 20
Tau generation
yeah.
or whatever the fuck.
Sigma generation.
Oh.
The Sigma generation would be insufferable.
Even though I have a lot of fun stuff happening until then, cannot wait until July 12th. Bring it on. I don't think there are any memes in the past 20 or so days, so that takes us to...
None.
No?
None at all.
Ugh.
Pretty dry period for memes.
Right?
I can't tell. Are you being honest or was
no,
it...
like there was obviously a million.
Well,
memes,
I'm sure,
and we
but
just
like I've
didn't participate.
I've been
in
on
them.
Twitter a lot less lately, so I have not been seeing a whole lot of memes.
I've been on Twitter 0 lately.
None of them are really breaking the mold. No.
Yeah, I feel like TikToks aren't memes anymore.
No.
Like TikTok trends are not the same.
Not
thing
when
as
half
memes.
of them are 3-minute long essays that end with like for part 2, and then it's just a story of this customer said I had to spit in his food, and then my manager said, yeah, you got to spit in their food, and then corporate found out and they got fired.
My favorite TikToker, Moschino Dorito, fucking ripped that format to shreds, and it was amazing. Where he's just like, it's a white 28-year-old talking to a camera, and he like starts his point like this, and then he like zooms in on his face like at the end of every single sentence, and it was just like, oh yeah, that's it, isn't it? That's just the whole format. You just say a seemingly innocuous sentence and then put a twist on it at the end and zoom in on your face, and then just do that 20 times, and you have a 4-minute long million view TikTok.
I heard, and I have now seen 10-minute videos on TikTok. That's bad, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that to the platform. Don't create 10-minute TikToks. Yeah, you're a YouTuber at this point.
TikTok's algorithm based though, so it's always going to be a thing. It's for the people that are just using their YouTube recommendations and not a sub box. That's all they care about.
Right now, my TikTok is mostly just clips from the Venture Brothers, and I am using this app correctly.
That's the beauty of TikTok, is that everyone has a different experience with it. Ryan might see a lot of video essays. Lucas sees a lot of clips from the Venture Brothers, and I don't see it at all because I don't go on TikTok.
Yeah. We're a great podcast.
And we're going to talk about the stuff that Andrew is seeing besides TikTok in The Breakouts.
The Obi-Wan show is so bad.
Like, how?
Yeah, it's not. I know it's not. You're saying it, but I know it's not.
You know it's not what?
Not bad.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, I guarantee it's not bad. I'm sure it's mediocre and nothing special.
Oh,
I promise it's not bad.
This is not like a they ruined Star Wars kind of thing. Like, I mean, the performances all around are really bad. The acting is really, really bad. And this is like including Ewan McGregor, who is a solid actor who's been in a lot of stuff. He's not just a guy that was in Star Wars. Like, he's doing a bad job.
oh.
One of the main plot point in the show is that he's rescuing Princess Leia, who, as like a child, and I mean, child actors are never like recipes for success, but like, holy shit, she's not handling it well, guys. Like,
Andrew Clark on a podcast on the internet just bullying a child.
the only redeeming part of this show has been this character named Reva, who's hunting down Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is the subject of a bunch of racist vitriol from Star Wars fans. She's like the only good thing about the show, and they're like, "We hate you. You're black. Get off the show."
Oh.
Yeah, that's been like the main thing to come out of the show, is that like Disney executives literally warned her, being like, "You will likely receive a lot of hate speech from being in this show."
Great community. Great fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, I'm sure it's not bad.
This last episode, the episode 5 that I watched last Wednesday, I think the final episode of the series is coming out like in 2 days. Was actually surprisingly okay. Like, I had a good time watching it, and there was a couple of good moments. And it was like the worst received episode of the series, I guess. Like, you can look at like different scores in the first 3 episodes, which I thought were absolute dog shit. We're getting like 7s and 8s, and this one got like a 5. So not sure what's going on.
What? I have a lot of questions about this. I'm going to open with this one, and then depending on your response, go from there. What are the odds by the time this show finishes airing that there is a scene where it's Leia getting the hair buns for the first time?
Oh, that's probably coming. I don't know. I'm not going to geek out. There's a couple of things that don't match up with like other parts of the Star Wars storyline where it's like this doesn't really make sense based on other stuff that happened, but whatever.
I think Star Wars is the one franchise you're allowed to nitpick because they've done it to themselves.
Yeah.
Like, this entire series is set up for anachronisms.
Yeah.
Like, they made it happen. They're choosing to do all this.
Yeah. Like, they're going to have to, like, mind wipe Leia at the end of the show or some bullshit to make it work. But, yeah. there's a lot of unnecessary dialogue, and there's a lot of characters that just legitimately do full 180s, like, while they're talking, and it doesn't make sense.
Do Mando or Boba Fett show up?
No.
Okay. That's fair. I appreciate that the show isn't an ad for one of the other Star Wars shows also.
Yeah. Although some people are thinking that this is leading into them going like, and Reva will return in some spin-off show.
Revolution!
Revolution. Yeah, I mean, her whole thing was just like, yeah, she was a Jedi Padawan who watched all of her friends get slaughtered by Anakin Skywalker when she was like 10, and then turned to the dark side so that she could get close to him and hunt him down. And it was actually kind of cool.
Oh.
To like see that happen. And again, that was like the only good part of the show.
I look forward to hearing how that storylines play out, and if she is successful in enacting her revenge on Darth Vader and murdering him.
No, she got totally owned.
Oh, really? I never would have thought.
Yeah,
I never would have thought that
again,
the character
they
who
like,
appears in movies that take place chronologically later in this universe,
but like they
wasn't revenge murdered. Who? What?
Well, like obviously she wasn't going to win, but like she got absolutely bitch slapped, and it was pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, I bet the racists will love that one.
Oh yeah, you know they did.
God. All right, please keep us abreast of what is going on there. I have a sickness where I'm never going to check this out myself, but appreciate being in the loop. I finished the golden route of Triangle Strategy. Pretty good tactics game. My only criticism is that I wish there wasn't a leveling system in the game. I wish you just got these characters, got these pieces, had a challenge, had a board in front of you, and then you had to solve it. Because an issue I ran into repeatedly was, am I actually getting better at this game? Am I actually figuring out how to solve this puzzle? Or are the numbers just higher? And yeah, that was, I don't know, that was taking away from the experience a little bit. Ryan, what have you been checking out?
I caught up on Stranger Things Season 4, which genuinely has been a return to form for the show. I had thought that it was a real diminishing returns show that just kept like digging its own grave deeper and deeper every time it dropped new content, but no, Season 4 was really refreshing, and I've seen some people say that they liked it, like it's their favorite season so far, which I think is definitely a step too far, but like really promising. Super long-winded. Plenty of the episodes approach an hour and a half. And apparently in the final 2, there's going to be a 2.5 hour episode of television, which just it's not. It's 3 episodes that you decided to package together. Like that's not a thing.
You didn't have to do
that.
That.
Possibly.
I would say you're about to watch a TV movie, but TV movies are an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
You're watching like 1 8/10 of a TV movie.
You're watching most of The Irishman.
So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I like the direction that the season has taken. They kind of went for more spooks.
Those things are getting stranger.
Yeah, it's growing up. Like the show is genuinely growing up and is getting like, I don't know. There's one scene in particular in season 1. Like it didn't have the budget, obviously, that it has now, but they had this really fucking metal monster named the Demogorgon who, can just fuck shit up and is basically unstoppable. And they had to like Jaws it, where they wouldn't always show, like they couldn't always show because of the budget, just literally couldn't. In this season, they let the Demogorgon have its moment. I feel like they had a lot of ideas. They were pissed off that they had to hold back so much at season 1, and they just let it all fucking go in one fell swoop. And I was like, this is like The Boys level shit right here. Like this is some intense gore and fucking horror going on. And this was like a quasi kid show season 1. Like it was a Stand By Me clone. So it's interesting. I like it.
There's some fucked up shit in Stand By Me, to be clear, but yeah.
No, there's not.
Well,
There are not human bodies getting torn asunder.
There's a dead body.
There you see a single dead body.
Oh,
that is pretty tame. Like, it's just a little bloated. Like, it's nothing really wrong with it.
I feel like there's a law, there's a rule of diminishing returns with dead bodies. The more of them in a show, the less impactful they are.
Seeing a unholy monster who looks remarkably realistic because they spend $30 million.
Yeah, no, they single-handedly bankrupted Netflix.
Yeah. Having that monster grab someone by the head, press his head into the wall with force so that it, like, half caves in, like, in a very realistic way, and then, like, scrape it up the wall so that his head is just completely gone because it got, like, cheese grated into a concrete wall. That's worse than seeing a mild dead body. That, like, let's be honest,
Okay.
at least half of the human population has seen a dead body in some form of, like, death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Not the same. So, I don't know. You guys have never watched any of it. I can now confidently say that, like, it's worth it. Like, season 1 and 4 alone make it single-handedly worth it to watch. So, and 2 and 3 are fine.
Very fair. Please keep us up to date on that as well. I watched the Bob's Burgers movie.
I'm very surprised that you got to this before I did.
Oh.
I mean, not like timing wise. Like, I took too long to see it, and then it wasn't in the local theater, and I couldn't find time to go drive out and see it. But, you know, like, I'm a big Bob's Burgers fan, and you saw the movie before me. That pisses me off.
I don't think I knew this about you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a big.
You're a big Bob's Burgers
Like,
fan?
what does that mean?
Are you being sarcastic?
I've seen every
right now?
episode.
Oh.
What?
Okay, we're learning shit about Andrew today.
Bob's Burgers started out as my, like, I'm stressed out show, like, and then it became I'm on a plane and I'm freaking out because I have anxiety about planes. I'm gonna watch Bob's Burgers on either, like, my tablet or the like, little TV that comes preloaded with shows. They always have a couple episodes of Bob's Burgers for some reason, and then developed into I like this show a lot, and the world fucking sucks. So I'm gonna watch 6 episodes of Bob's Burgers in a row.
Oh.
It's never been on your top 10 list.
Yeah.
You've never
Well,
talked
because
about it
I never
before,
really
as far
watched
as
it
I
in
know.
real time. Like, I think this is the first year that I've seen, like, this year's season of Bob's Burgers, the year that it came out.
Huh.
Weird.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, you'd be a perfect person to ask this question then. Does Bill Hader still voice the character Mickey in the TV show?
I mean, I believe so. It sure sounds like him.
Okay, because he did not for this film.
Oh, really?
And yeah, there had to have been some kind of shenanigans going on there. The character isn't in the movie for more. I'm not totally sure like how scenes work, but not much more than a scene. At least isn't speaking in much more than a scene. So I wonder what happened there, and maybe Bill Hader's just too expensive.
It sounds like the character only appeared once in season 12 and was not voiced by Bill Hader.
Oh, so he's been out for a while.
So I think the character was kind of phased out. There hasn't been that many appearances.
Yeah, he's like just a random
one episode in
recurring
season
character.
2, one episode in season. He's a guest character.
Yeah.
He's definitely not recurring.
I mean, okay.
One episode.
You
in season
have
2,
like
one
the
episode in
legitimate
season 3.
definition of recurring, and my definition of recurring is just like he shows up more than once.
Okay.
Recurring is like less than half of the episodes, but more than a couple. Like,
all right,
they're in a decent amount.
That makes more sense then. That makes more sense that somebody else is taking over the role, and then that person probably did the voice in the movie. Since you're apparently a huge fan of this, I won't get into spoilers. But good film. I think that I like the Simpsons movie, which feels like a fair point of comparison, a little more than this one. I think the Simpsons movie is going to stand the test of time a little bit better, maybe, or it feels like it has a little more teeth to it. But no, good film otherwise. And then it is, like grappling some bigger questions that people deal with in life that are, interesting. Interesting to see come from an animated TV show, animated movie, TV show turned into a movie, whatever this is. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Great musical numbers.
There you go.
Can't wait to see it eventually.
Please let us know when you do, and we can turn it into a group chat. And then last but not least for the breakouts, as I mentioned earlier, I'm playing Neon White. It fucking whips. This game just drips cool. I'm so glad that it's published by Annapurna, because that's the only way they got Steve Bloom to do his Spike Spiegel voice for the main character of this game, and it just makes it. It's dumb, it's fun, it makes me feel like a speedrunner in the best way possible, and I love it. I love this video game. Can't wait to beat it.
It's gonna make your list.
It's gonna be a contender.
How many? So I'm sure you keep track.
Oh yeah.
How many games do you have for your 2022 list so far?
How many games do I, Lucas DeRuyter, have for the 2022 top 10s so far? That released in 2022, I have 7.
Jesus. I have 0.
Oh.
I have 2. Well, I have 1.5. One of them I haven't finished.
I don't think we said you have to finish the game.
No. Okay, so I have 2.
Didn't we have that whole discussion?
Wait, does the season pass for Battlefield 2042 count?
No.
Okay, then I have
not.
7.
Fucking.
I have a hard 7.
I don't have any, man.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not gonna have any.
I've been less interested in video games this year. I don't know if that's just there aren't ones that I'm interested in coming out, or if I'm changing.
I mean, do you want some recommendations?
I mean,
I can recommend Neon White. I think you would enjoy that game.
I don't...
See, I need you to recommend me games that you have not played, because you have an ulterior motive of you just want to have someone to talk about these games with, so I can't trust your recommendations. These need to be recommendations for games that you haven't necessarily played, but you have heard enough about that you genuinely think we would enjoy them.
Okay.
I think those are the only recommendations I can trust from you.
Man...
Because I think at one point I had that same spiel to you, Lucas, and you're like, okay, let me think. And you said, like, I think you'd probably like Triangle Strategy. And I know that I would not.
God, I'm going through recently released games. Either of you play the original Mario Strikers with Ian?
I did play that. It was fun.
Yeah. Sequel's out now.
Yeah, it does look kind of fun.
Ian's enjoying it.
Madden 23 is going to come out, and maybe we'll chill out for that.
Probably.
And
I am playing so much FIFA 22.
Ooh.
It's not even funny. Full-blown FIFA addict at this point. Fucking Ultimate Team, the, like, squeeze your wallet game mode. I'm fucking breaking the system, man.
Ooh.
They're like, oh, pay me this money to get this pack. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to figure out how to, like, optimize my team and my strategy in order to not have to pay a cent and still have a competitive team. I'm to the point where I can legitimately compete with, like, the good teams. Like, it used to be where, like, yeah, you'd have some team that you did your best, and you're like, look, it's my little team. And then someone would come along that spent $500 to make a god squad and didn't even know how to play the game, but would just fucking throw an air through to Messi, who was like 15 steps ahead of everyone, and then score an easy goal. Like, I'm to the point now where they can't do that to me. Like, I'm legitimately able to compete with them without spending a single penny and having installed the game a month ago. Like, it's fucking awesome.
Ryan, you set us up for this kind of at the top of the podcast a little bit, but I really want a podcast to exist now where it's just taking the top 100 soccer players in the latest FIFA game and figuring out which Pokemon they are. I would enjoy that. Someone please pay us to do that.
Smash or pass. Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah. There's this part of Ultimate Team, which was a part that had always been around of like every EA Sports Ultimate Team that I had like dipped my toe into but never really tried, called squad building challenges.
Okay.
And there's other names, like it's like collections and other, it's like you take players that you don't need, like their cards that you don't need and like weren't really using, and put them together using puzzles. Again, it's these fucking puzzles in order to get rewards. And I'm just fucking cranking that shit out. Like today I was doing one for the Chinese League, so I had like 5 Chinese players, and I like put them into this puzzle, and they're like, yeah, but they have to be this certain overall in this squad, otherwise you can't get the reward. So then I was like fucking looking at the transfer market, just like, all right, how do I get the cheapest players possible that still fit the challenge? And just like, god damn, it really scratches that itch of like, it's a puzzle, but like I have never once felt the need to spend money. Like I feel like I'm still progressing in the mode, even though I haven't spent a single cent, which is actually really rewarding. And look, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's late in the season and they've decided to just say fuck it and give you a bunch of super powerful stuff, but like I don't know if it's legitimately possible to do it. I've also like looked at a few YouTube videos of people who do Road to Glory, like they reset their team entirely and try to build it in 5 days. What's the best team I can make? And like they give you a lot of really helpful strategies. So it's like, I feel like EA Sports has kind of left the door open a little bit on FIFA for some reason to like actually make competitive teams without spending a dime.
Well, because they can't make these games anymore. Like the revenue stream of these are ending for them.
No, they're not.
No, I thought
they can't use the FIFA name.
Oh,
it's still going to be.
They're going to call it EA Sports Football or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're going to have the exact same game next year.
Very curious.
Not called FIFA.
Very curious how those numbers do without the league license. Ryan, you've done a succinct job describing this game, and I am thrilled that you're engaging with it on your own terms and not out $500 to be able to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I think my only question is this like how you become a soccer hooligan? Is this how it starts?
Soccer's a great sport.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite sport to watch. The end of soccer matches can be genuinely intriguing, but I think it's very similar to basketball in that it is fun to watch, but at the end of the day, if you're not really into like all the strategies and like the minutia of what's going on minute to minute, it's really only like exciting at the end of a close game.
Yeah.
Like for any basketball game, you can just tune in for the second half of the fourth quarter if it's a close game, and you'll get the game. Like that's the important part. So it's like that, but I didn't play soccer other than when I was like an 8-year-old and everyone played soccer. So I don't really know anything that's going on. I do play FIFA against people who probably have played soccer their entire lives and use my God Squad team to probably make them upset. As they now I've turned the tables, but I haven't spent a fucking penny, so I don't feel sorry for them at all. They could do the exact same strategies as me and also be good, but yeah, no, I'm just like, oh, I'll fucking lob it up to my 99 speed Australian winger, and he'll just fucking burn past their fullback and easily slot it into the side net past the goalie. It'll be great. So, I don't know. And I like Sunderland, as I've mentioned before, with the depressing Sunderland Till I Die documentary on Netflix. So, that is also my name on FIFA Ultimate Team. I've just created Sunderland. I use Sunderland's jersey. They let you use crowd noise from different teams, so I use Sunderland's crowd noise, which has all their chants and everything. It's fun. It's a good time.
That's fantastic to hear. And that is taking us into the group chat. Ryan, did you finish Barry?
I'm caught up on everything that we were all watching.
I know you guys, Ryan, you especially, little more reserved on Barry this season, which was fair, had a rougher start. Holy fucking shit, the directing of these last 3 episodes were phenomenal, and I think some of the best in recent television that I can think of.
I thought it was really good.
He's cracking up.
I think I fall somewhere between you and Ryan on this one. Rough start. I thought it had a really good end of the first half, and then I thought the second half was really good. I did not enjoy watching the finale. It was fucking rough. Like that was just a bad time for everybody.
Great TV.
Let's hear some hot takes. Let's hear the extremes.
Be the dissenter.
Barry is a fantastic blend of comedy and drama.
Mm-hmm.
When Barry decides, I don't want to be funny anymore. I want to be better than that. I want to be only a drama. Barry loses part of what makes Barry one of the best shows on TV, and now becomes a pretty good drama. And I think that you guys are coasting off of your love for the characters and the vibes that came from the first 2 seasons, which were very much focused on the blend between comedy and drama, and has now just become just a fucking self-flagellation, like whip yourself that all this shit's going down.
I think for the finale,
it's not as good.
I think that's the case for at least the finale and some of the stuff early on. But I think a lot of the stuff was funny. I think we talked about, like, you just didn't think some of it was as funny, and we did. So, like, for a lot of it, we didn't lose that blend of comedy and drama because it was still funny.
I'm talking about the finale.
Yeah, no, the finale was
Lucas is making
rough.
claims that the finale is the best, some of the best directing in modern television, and I'm like, I am so not even close to on that wavelength.
The finale had some great sound direction.
It had one scene where they couldn't show a panther mauling someone, so they had him maul him through a wall. It's been done. I don't know.
All right. I thought it was good.
It was good.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. But, like, I don't know. It's not like peak TV anymore. Like, it's not what it was. It lost that. There was one funny line in the entirety of the finale. Like, it...
Which line? I don't remember it.
Oh, it was definitely the chief of police. What happened to
Oh,
Albert?
yeah, just like...
Well, he cocked his gun and stormed off, so he's probably seen the sights. Like, that was genuinely really fucking funny. The chief has been legitimately, like, some of the only comedy this season for me, and I was glad that he got a little line in.
The bread by Brett scenes got me. I appreciated those.
You mean the beignets by Mitch?
Yeah, you mean...
That also
yeah,
was
beignets
not the
by
finale.
Mitch.
That was
sorry.
episode 7.
Yeah, that
Well, I'm talking about all of it, because, like, you guys have been... And it's been a minute. Yeah.
I thought episode 7 was really good. The chase...
Yeah, the beignets, that might have been my favorite episode of the season, episode 7.
Oh, and the driving on the...
The chase scene was
driving
good.
on the highway, driving on
Yeah.
any California highway. That...
Yeah.
Lucas,
7 was probably my favorite episode.
I'm with you on I liked this season. I'm not as high on it as you were, and I mean, I did not like the first 2 episodes, and the finale, while I thought was good, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. I just think Barry lost something. I think that at one point they decided, let's make this a drama. Let's break tradition by making this now a total drama
Island.
And it just
Boo.
a total drama island, and Owen came. I don't know. It just wasn't. It wasn't the same. It wasn't as good. It was fine. It was competently done. They avoided a lot of pitfalls that I was worried that they would fall into. When Sally got on the phone with Barry, and I was like, wait, no, they're not really going to have her go back to him. That they didn't. Like, they avoided that pitfall. The same thing with earlier in the season where I was worried about that whole, like, plot line turning that way. They are acknowledging that they can sidestep the problems that a lesser show would not have sidestepped. It's still competently made, but, like, I don't know, man. They got to get back to the jokes. They got to get back to the funny. That is the core of what makes Barry great. The character work and the dramatic storylines was never the core for me. So yeah.
My only counter argument, and what I'm going to end on, is that Barry casually describing how he is going to terrorize her Sally's former boss if she wants him to. Yeah, I'll just replace her dog with a different dog, swap out her furniture so she thinks she's growing or shrinking. Standard stuff I learned in the army and on Reddit.
That one did not land for me. That one was mostly just terrifying. Like, I think that was supposed to be funny, and I just didn't find it funny.
It was too off-putting. A lot of the jokes and humor are very off-putting because of the serious tone that this season took. Like, it doesn't come off as funny anymore. And I think that one of the big reasons is that Barry was never the funniest character in Barry. Like, NoHo Hank was probably the funniest character, and this season he took a huge step back in terms of, like, involvement for the most part. Like, he wasn't nearly as central to the main arc going forward. Like, it became a Sally and Barry arc, and that wasn't quite there as much. And I get it, the show's trying to say something. It's trying to speak about, like, those types of relationships and how problematic they are and everything like that, and talk about, like, a lot of issues, like, with stuff that Barry's dealing with, but it just doesn't hit, man. It doesn't hit the same.
I don't get the point of having Albert there. At the end, she's like, fuck you, Barry, you're a bad guy, but you're not evil, like, you should stop.
To give him one last chance.
But then immediately Barry's just like, God, now I gotta go shoot this guy in the back of the head.
It was meant to be the ultimate irony, right? Like, he'd been saying it all series long, like, this is it, I'm out after this, and then he finally had the official, no, you have to be out. If you're not out, things are going to go really, really wrong for you, and he still went forward with it. Like, it wasn't self-imposed anymore. It was coming from an outside force that he actually respected and admired, and going against that would be the final no. Like, there's no coming back. So, yeah.
So where's it go from now?
I
guess Fuchs and Barry in prison. Fuchs is going to become a prison lord. Like, he's going to be the king of the yard because he's going to use the Raven shit, which is, I'm once again the chief of police. Like, the funny shit how he just kept. No, we know it's the Raven.
You call him a bumbling idiot, but look at that jacket. It's leather and it's cool.
I think Barry's going to get out of jail immediately somehow. It's going to be a comedy of errors, or maybe it goes to trial. Maybe it opens with this trial, and the jury is just like, wait, no, I recognize this dude from that Humanity drama. Like, he's a good guy. I loved him in that. We can't put him in jail. And then he walks.
I feel like we are going to get, like, a season, maybe, of Barry, Fuchs, prison hijinks.
It would be nice to see them together, yes.
Right. I feel like they need to mix it up. I feel like the Barry Sally. I feel like Sally always paired better with other characters from their acting group because she was from that world. Because Barry and Sally were never a good match.
No.
Like, they were never enjoyable to see on screen. The only times they were funny is when they were dysfunctional. Like, the only times they were funny is when Sally's delivering her monologue and Barry's studying for shit pie. Like, those are the funny parts of their relationship. So I feel like we need more Barry NoHo Hank, Barry Fuchs, and then get Gene back with his acting class and some of those vibes.
All right. We got another show to talk about here, and I think will also be divisive. Season 3 of The Boys.
It's gonna be divisive.
Yeah, a little bit of a miss for me.
What the fuck, Lucas?
What?
Oh my god!
Dude, it's still as good as it's ever been. Like,
it fucking can't miss.
The Boys started out so hot, and it just never slowed down.
It can't stop. It's just got no fucking breaks, man. They're just blatantly putting Homelander on Fox News, man. Like, the Boys subreddit had a fucking meltdown because it had a no politics rule, and now the show is just
how did the
politics.
Boys fan base ever have a no politics rule? It's like the most blatantly political show ever.
Because it's the Punisher fans.
I
It's
guess.
the ones that don't get the irony and unironically think, no, they're cool.
I did.
Homelander's going to be redeemed in the end. Like,
Lucas gave this criticism to me a little bit earlier, and now things are starting to make sense where he was saying, well, now that they have Blue Hawk for just the stand-in of I'm a racist cop, like, the other, like, subtle, like, superheroes as cops metaphors don't work as well. I'm like, I don't know, I think they just fucking took a railroad spike, put it on a racist cop's head, and hammered it in.
I think this is the creators of The Boys fucking giving the middle finger to all the fans that, didn't understand that fucking nuance.
Like, were we too subtle with the Nazi last season?
Yeah,
no.
With a literal Nazi. Yeah, no, like, they're... it's just
Go
so
out to
fucking
your
good.
restaurants, have a good time, live your life,
Yeah!
don't live in fear.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so
Homelander
good.
went full Trump. They ripped a Trump speech in a complete, but in a different
Do you think this
context.
might be
And
a
again,
false
gave it that
flag?
nuance.
You said it.
Oh, I don't know. Could be anything. God, dude,
He's standing up to the media. Yeah.
The mainstream. Yeah, the fucking Mother's Milk, MM's
daughter's stepdad or whatever.
Yeah, his ex-wife's new husband.
Yeah, his wife's boyfriend.
Yeah, the pathetic, like, I don't know, insecure white dude who just, looks up to that. Like, that is what an insecure white dude thinks is, like, a strong figure that you can look up to. Ah, it's just so good, man.
So what don't you like about it, Lucas? Where is it missing?
I guess, I mean, okay, I understand where you guys are coming from, and yes, The Boys being a lot more blatant about its politics is cathartic in some way. But I also think it's blunter, and that the writing is a little less sharp because of that. It still has teeth, it's still cogently making a point, but now it's just a little less clever about it.
I don't think The Boy... I mean, yeah, it is, like, heavier-handed now, but it was never, like, super subtle. The Boys was always, like, so obviously about these specific issues. Right. And, like, was not subtle about it. Like, it was, like, as heavy-handed as we thought that you could get. And then they're like, what if we filled those gloves with liquid lead, let it harden, and now you have to box with it? That's how heavy these hands are now.
I guess...
I feel like the show has moved on in terms of, like, the topics that it's exploring because it has completely exposed what it had to expose. There's no shock factor in a superhero doing something bad anymore. So now they've kind of moved on to, like, different themes of, like, what does it take to defeat evil? Like, I feel like the main nuance coming from this season is, like, Butcher's ideology versus, like, MM's ideology, and, like, the Temp V and everything like that. Like, do you have to actually become a monster to defeat a monster? Like, I feel like they've moved on from the theme of, like, the subtle modern politics to more, like, what do we do about it?
Right.
Like, what can we possibly do to defeat this insurmountable evil, and does it require us to be corrupted in the process? Like, I feel like that was Huey's arc so far in the season, is coming from, like, the baller dude who has it all figured out and is actually doing good in the world, to realizing, like, no, it's still
I have to become a
sham.
terrorist. Like, violence is the only way I have to.
I'm still 3 layers deep in this fucking conspiracy pie. Like, Newman is literally fucking Stan Edgar's daughter. Like, there's no way out. Butcher is right. Butcher is 100% correct, and that's what it took. And then to still have a figure like MM, like, be like, no, we can't go that far. This is the whole point of what we're doing, you motherfuckers. You're ruining everything. And then, Frenchie and
Kimiko,
the female, Kimiko.
Jesus,
like their arc, like, of just, like, being completely over it, but again, just getting roped into it due to their past. Like, can you ever be completely redeemed from past action? I just feel like they've moved on thematically and can no longer be, like, subtle nods to Blue Lives Matter, because we're past that. We know. We've set the stakes, you know? I guess that's where I've fallen. And I just enjoy the characters and their hijinks. Or what about A-Train's plotline?
Okay, A-Train's plotline, I'm going to object to specifically. I feel like we've covered a lot of... It is being more upfront about it. I feel like we've covered a lot of this material before, though, and now it is more explicit, but, like, A-Train went through this arc already. Like, he decided he's just going to be a sellout in season 1, and now... Yeah, no, it's...
Right, but he's been through a ton. Like,
he's changed...
It was supposed to be an...
I do have...
I thought it was supposed to be an arc, and then, like, to see that, no, this is what it takes to change, and, like, what do you do when you come up against, absolute power?
I think A-Train's arc would have made a little bit more sense. I mean, also, we're not done. We have several more episodes. We're halfway through the season.
There's no redemption from, like, cautiously saying, hey, man... knock it off. Well, a rogue cop is beating up a bunch of people.
In the previous episode, he sold out the one guy that was like, hey man, you're being treated like shit. We should team up so that we can maybe stand a chance to stop evil. And then he just fucking sold him out.
there's nothing he can do to Homelander. Like, they're full of shit. Like, Homelander's literally unbeatable. Like, sure, maybe the show will end with him being beaten, but, like, A-Train knows that. Like, what the fuck is A-Train
But A-Train didn't do that just out of self-preservation. He did that to get in Homelander's good graces, because he was mad that the Deep was his favorite.
That's part of self-preservation, being in Homelander's good graces. He was literally about to be expelled from the Seven. Like, there was no... That is full self-preservation, getting yourself back into his good graces. It wasn't just petty.
Okay, I've voiced my criticisms. I will say there is a lot of stuff from the season so far that I genuinely like. Touched upon it earlier, but yeah, Gunpowder just being actual the Punisher.
Yeah.
Actual, my superpower is the Second Amendment. That's pretty good. God, see the scene where the Deep is brought back into the Seven over two other people of marginalized backgrounds, and
this guy's a rapist. Really,
yeah.
One who like overtly is portrayed as having deserved it more than anyone, like being the actual best candidate. It's not like they were equal candidates and they went with the straight white guy. No, like. Just actively choosing over that.
I forget the actor who plays the Deep. I think his name is...
Chase Crawford.
Chase Crawford, yes. He is so good at portraying just a white guy. Not sucks, as in, like, oh, he is bad, morally corrupt.
I mean, he is, but...
Guileless.
This guy isn't...
He's got no spine.
Good. This is just a poor human. Like, this, nah...
It's the social Darwinism that actually exists.
Right.
Like, when people talk about, like, oh, we're allowing, like, the eugenics shit, where they're like, we're allowing inferior genes to, like, survive in our gene pool, we need to cleanse that. That is what actually is allowed to exist, is fucking piss-poor white mediocrity because of, like, our social hierarchy that we currently live in. Like, just actively, someone who got to fucking... limp their way through life because of their like privilege at every step of the way, not be spectacular in anything, get openly mocked for it, and still allowed to recover. Like, everyone knows he's a joke, and he's still allowed.
He's
to
not.
continue.
I mean, one, he's a bad superhero. Like that part is. It's always
gill punched.
You gill punched me.
He was disabled by being gill punched. That's like most of his torso is his weakness.
I mean, he's a bad guy. He's a known sexual predator. He's a bad superhero, and he is just a laughable loser that nobody likes. Literally nobody likes the Deep.
And he just keeps failing upward.
Yeah. No, and then now you've got, like, more commentary on, like, the dictator effect and everything like that. What happens when Homelander's installed into power? Like,
we need team players, so we fire everyone that tweeted the wrong way. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're just starting to get more of this character, but actual Captain America is going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Soldier Boy, I am very looking forward to the second half of Soldier Boy's arc. Like, that is so promising.
Andrew, your boy, Supernatural alum, that look he gave the biracial gay couple in New York was really good.
He's like, well, I guess everything's just whatever nowadays.
This shit does not miss. My jaw dropped, and I knew, like, you had spoiled it for me.
Sorry.
He was in this season.
Nah.
And still, when it was just actually Soldier Boy just there, like, had been experimented on for decades, like, yeah, that shit was fucking wild. Like, that was genuinely an interesting twist. And just like, yeah, what would happen if actual Captain America existed? He'd be a piece of shit. Everyone would hate him. Everyone hated him in his time.
Yeah.
Now he's in modern times without modern sensibilities.
Finding out that the Black Noir of the show is not going to be the same deal as the comic is a big relief, since did not like the twist of the comic. And then also, like, just what? Yeah, Huey and then Butcher's superpowers, them having the powers they do, reveals about that Butcher is just fucking discount Homelander is really fucking good.
Butcher's shitty Homelander, and Huey is like the fucking lamest superpower of all time.
He just
blinks into people but can't take his clothes.
He's just a slippery guy who disappears.
He has to awkwardly put his clothes back on every time he uses his powers.
No, I'm a superhero. I have superpowers now. I can fight. I can protect people. Your powers are made for running away, dude. And, they're not bad, but... Okay.
He punched through a guy. He's probably bulletproof. We don't know that, but...
I think he can, like, blink... Yeah, like, he can displace matter is probably his... But, like, the oxygen molecule... Like, if he wants to go to a space, he's displacing, like, oxygen and nitrogen molecules. If he wants to displace a human heart with his own arm, I think he can choose to do that. Like, he can choose that bit of, like... carbon and other like water molecule, all that shit. I want my fist to be there instead. Like, I think he's actually decently powerful.
And their reactions,
it's in a lame, dumb way. Like,
and like their reactions to it does make total sense. Like, Butcher fucking hates it because he's just like, every superhero needs to fucking die. I hate being a superhero, but it feels good to level the playing field. Huey's just like, this is awesome. This is the best I've ever felt. This is so cool.
Yeah. This is literally was always my dream, even from back when before I found out about all this. Yeah. And what about Newman? Like shooting her daughter full of V, like knowing the effects that it had on her. Like, this show's got so much to say, man. It's so deep. It's so deep. I don't know.
Wait, no, that's a negative.
Not without my dolphin.
For me, it just can't fucking miss, man. Every scene is just it's on point. I can't get enough. I don't think Stan Edgar's done. I think Stan Edgar's gonna stick around for a bit. We're gonna see what cards he has left to play.
And we didn't even talk about Starlight just second wave feminisming. There we go. Her way through the season. Yeah. All right. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's still good. It's still great. It's still one of the most expensive shows being put out right now. Yeah, but I don't know. I felt like season 1, phenomenal. Season 2, still really tight. Not quite doing it for me, but 5 episodes left, right? Plenty of time to turn around. Or
seasons 1 through 3 cannot miss.
All right.
Those are my review. Every season. Don't make me choose between them because they're all fucking amazing.
One last thing I want to say is I saw a tweet by, I think it was Cosmonaut Marcus, who summarized how I feel about this show. It was, The Boys has never once wasted a minute of my time, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. When I went to watch Barry, and even when I went to watch Stranger Things to a certain extent, it was like, all right, sit down, like, gotta watch this. When it came time for The Boys, I was like, I get to fucking watch The Boys. There is new The Boys out this week, and I cannot wait. Like, that's the bar between a good and great show for me, and The Boys has always surpassed that bar.
The shrinking superhero entering his partner's penis was a little...
Yeah.
Okay.
That is so The Boys, though.
Yeah, that is the most Boys that The Boys has ever been. Like, it was weird... but that's what they did the Ant-Man thing, the thing that everyone said that he should do to Thanos.
That's not clever.
Like why he needs, but like they took it to the level that everyone knew it would go to in real life. Like that would fucking happen. Ant-Man would go in someone's ass and blow them apart.
Violently and terribly.
Okay. All right.
This is the guy who said that Annihilation didn't have enough body horror. Not like in that body horror.
A little sophomoric. I don't know. I thought The Boys would be better. There'd be another layer to it, but whatever.
Well, sophomoric! That's one of the main adjectives that describes The Boys. It has always been that. Since the very beginning.
It's not an insult, that's what it is.
Yeah. That is unapologetically what the show is.
All right. And this is the unapologetic end of episode 187 of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, which will likely be titled, I Don't Believe in Accelerated Reader. If you like what you heard, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for highlight clips. ActBlue link in the description. Support us on Patreon and join the likes of the terrific Tiffany Cole, Sucky Badger, and sensual Richard Nixon. Also support us through the Anchor podcast platform if you so choose. Follow us on Twitter for updates, email voluntaryviewing@gmail.com, and follow me at Lucas Writer on Twitter to keep up with all of my writing. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a fantastic week.